Mouth breather. We're the government, and we care about the people, so we only want to help you and protect you and make everything all right for you. So do what we say or else! These are two messages that do not go together. One of them's a lie. Take a guess which. October has not been a good month for me. I have not been in the mood to even upload the videos that I've already recorded, let alone record any more. But what finally snapped me out of it a little bit was going out and taking a look at the current sorry state of the world and reflecting on the way in which... How do I want to say this? I look around and I see so much uncritical acceptance of obvious untruths. It's really difficult for me to avoid thinking less of people when they are so paranoid, so weak-willed, so eager to have someone else solve their problems for them so that they don't have to be bothered with the effort of doing things themselves. Not that I don't sympathize. I understand it's kind of human nature to feel that way, but we're supposed to rise above that. We're supposed to listen to the better angels of our nature, as the saying goes. And I just see so many people completely unwilling to even try, and it really demoralizes me. If you legitimately believe that the medical industrial complex, and I'm going to call it that because so the fact that you don't pay for medical services directly, the fact that you have to go through an insurance company, that roundaboutness is entirely the result of cognitive dissonance based on largely Judeo-Christian values that talk about how you can't put a price on human life. So they disguise the fact that they're doing exactly that. They instead of paying the hospital directly, you pay the insurance company, and the insurance company pays the hospital. But anybody who's paying an ounce of attention should know that that's exactly what's going on. So the fact that the fact that so many people are willing to succumb to that cognitive dissonance, that they're totally uncritically accepting of the fact that I had somewhere to go with this. I really did. Just on the face of it, the open contradiction, like that little intro that I did. You should be able to see that if your government actually cared about you, they would not be so determined to put all these restrictions on you, supposedly for your own good, but completely disallowing any open discussion of whether it actually is for your good. No one's allowed to dissent. No one's allowed to take to the streets and say, I am choosing not to believe this hype. I am choosing to question the obviously untrue things that we are being told. Like if you know anything about immunology, you know that what they're saying about coronavirus cannot possibly be true. And if you're starting to pay attention, this is late October of 2020. We're starting to see an upsurge in flu deaths, and it's becoming quickly very apparent that the flu, common influenza, which we have had with us for our entire lives and for hundreds of years before we were born, is more dangerous than coronavirus. And yet we've never freaked out and taken these sweeping measures to try and deal with the flu. And we didn't take them for swine flu, we didn't take them for bird flu, we didn't take them for S1, H1N1, whatever it is. This completely unprecedented degree of fascist crackdown on any sort of individual dissent or any attempt for anybody to, like, you can't run a business and say, we are choosing to disregard the statewide mask mandate. We welcome customers without masks. You can't do that. The city and the state will shut you down if you try to do that, and that is fascism right there. That is the purest form of the state will impose its will upon the individual at their expense. And I believe that as Americans, we have a patriotic duty to have a zero-tolerance policy for any of that kind of crap. Every other nation in the world can do that, but not here. This is America. We need to preserve individual freedom at any cost, because that's the entire basis on which our country is founded, and we are the only country in the world that is doing that. And there needs to be someone who does that. We need to, on the evolutionary stage, we need to demonstrate the viability of individual focus and freedom focus over collectivist obedience to authority, because there's plenty of demonstration of that. Most countries are run in a collectivist basis. The example is China, of course, but almost every European, Asian, African, and Native American culture since the dawn of time has been to a large extent collectivist, and America is a pretty much unique experiment, which I believe needs to be preserved at the most drastic cost possible, even if we have to kill half of the people in order to keep the other half totally free and totally independent and totally self-sufficient and not at the teat of government. That is what we have to do, because there needs to be one country on the planet that is doing that. And we were founded on the principle of give me liberty or give me death, and I'm really disappointed with the number of people who have refused to choose death, because it is a noble thing to choose to die for what you believe in. I would happily do it myself if anyone would give me the chance. I am prevented from doing that. I am not given the option of actually putting my money where my mouth is and taking a stand for what I believe in. We live in this freaking nanny state where everybody is protected even from themselves, and that is the most thoroughly un-American idea that I can come up with off of the top of my head. So yeah, I had more of a structured idea for this little rant, but this is, I think, is the best I'm going to do. So in case I can't think of another reason to, because it came pretty close to me just giving up on the channel this month because of how demoralized I was. So if there's another lull in this and you stop hearing from me for a while, just my message to the world and my message to America in particular is to keep fighting for individual liberty at whatever cost, because that's the only thing that matters. That's what this country was all about. All those Native Americans we murdered, all those black people that we enslaved, that was the point behind all of it, was actually mostly just to put money in the hands of a bunch of Virginia plantation owners. But let's forget about that. The ideal that they paid lip service to, even if they didn't actually believe in, was a good ideal, and it is still worth dying for. It is still worth putting everything on the line in order to make sure that there is one country that actually lives by the principle of things like states' rights, individual rights, small government. Everything needs to be as much as possible allow the individual to self-actualize to the greatest extent. So don't have a national military that protects everybody. Give every person the individual means to protect themselves, and that's less practical than it used to be in this age of guns and bombs and so forth. But I still believe that it is still, we could still make a go of denationalizing the military and instead having very small, like city level militias in mutual defense pacts that all agree to, without having a central oversight, without having all the resources funneled through one choke point, allow everybody to do their own thing and allow them to work together. Anyway, I'm not here to give a lesson on military policy. That's just an off-the-cuff example that probably isn't that great, because this is not a subject where I really know what I'm talking about, but it was just an attempt at illustrating the principle behind everything that I'm saying. Is let every individual, or at most like a neighborhood watch or something, is probably the largest group that should be allowed to have any sort of unilateral control over individuals within it. As much as possible, people, actual human beings, not organizations, not groups run by policy and committee where everything gets boiled down to whatever mutually acceptable compromise is least unsatisfying to all of the individuals involved, because that's what group leadership is. It always involves displeasing as many people as possible so that no one person is any happier than any other. That's what rule by committee means. So do away with that and allow people to actually pursue their own individual goals above all else. That is the meaning of America, and that is absolutely worth losing 1 to 5% of our population to coronavirus. So we should absolutely do away with all of this crap right now.